When I embraced atheism, it taught me to also embrace things that I had previously never allowed myself to even conceptualize as truth or reality. And I reject the concept of sin because of how people function. Imagine a God creates people to have flaws. He creates the situation that Christians say sin entered the world. He didn't prevent it. He didn't stop it. And he hasn't fixed the problem. I mean, if you know something's going to happen, then if you don't stop it or create an alternative, aren't you part of the problem? I honestly believe, based on 30 years of being in Christianity, that Christianity creates their own addicts and then offers the only viable solution. And let me explain. If we were to talk about watching adult entertainment, legal adult entertainment, Christianity says that if you watch that, you're an addict. Think about that. A normal thing that most people do, if they're really honest with themselves, they do it in some way, most people. Imagine a religion that casts these people as the bad guy for having normal urges, normal desires. It makes them feel like they have an addiction to a highly addictive addiction. I mean, you look at people who suffer from chronic long-term illnesses or addictions like crystal, meth, and heroin, and everything in between. Those are real addictions that have been recorded and supported by the psychiatric and medical communities. I think it was 1973 when the American Psychiatric Association removed being gay or trans as a mental illness. Think about that. And it's the same thing with anything religion turns into an addiction. Corn addiction, plastic surgery, modesty. I mean, we create our own addicts, and then we blame people for just existing in their natural state, and we offer them a solution they don't need. I mean, addiction to adult info, videos, and material is not an addiction. It's completely normal. Now, can it become something unhealthy that impacts relationships and other people? Sure. That does not make an addiction. Sometimes people need to learn healthy ways to navigate their life. I mean, there's nothing wrong with drinking water and eating food, but if you eat too much of something, it can become obesity or you can die. There's nothing inherently wrong with looking at normal things, as long as everyone consents and everyone is 18 plus. I don't care what people do. But I reject the whole concept of sin, addiction, and purity because it doesn't do anything good for people. And when an institution creates their own problem and their God has the only viable answer, it's kind of like making people buy snake oil for a non-existent problem. And anyone who says they know what happens after death or has insight into after death is lying, or they're selling something. And it's really true. The getting saved from corn addiction is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Modesty and purity is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It shouldn't be, but it is. Because when you grow up in a society and a religion that teaches you that everything that is normal, natural, and expected in 98% of humanity is dirty, evil, and sinful, you're creating a non-existent problem with a resolution that doesn't even need to exist. It's pointless. So yeah, atheism taught me to reject the concept of sin. Because if existing in the way we're supposed to exist is wrong, then something's wrong with the person who claims to have created this problem. So yeah, I reject sin. Original sin, anything considered sin. If something's not... And the only time I only consider something bad is if it's illegal, unhealthy, dangerous, or you're not old enough to handle making this decision. And when people label things as sin, they're already creating an us versus them mentality. They're creating a situation where people become their own addicts, and it's called a shame spiral for a reason. It's the cycle of shame. And I feel bad for most people who grow up in this environment, especially men for porn addiction and women for modesty and purity. They mourn over who they are in their body, and they don't need to. They're perfect the way they are. Just find somebody who's 18 plus who wants to do that with you. And stop making it like it's the worst thing you've ever done. Just set boundaries for yourself, set limits, and as long as it doesn't impact your job, your family, and the people who care about you, it's not an addiction. It does not exist. And if the medical association agrees that it doesn't, it doesn't. It's that simple.